Alright, there we go. You probably heard me before you saw me, but welcome back again. There's only a few of these parts. I don't know if this is part 3 or part 4, but I'm an old guy and I forgot already. So let's continue with it. These are the combat bot chips that I'm just opening up, and probably at the end of it I may get a 5-star. We'll take a look at that really quick before we get started, right? How close are we to a 5-star? Alright, so it's definitely going to happen. I'm close to both. Yeah, it's not going to happen this stream, because by the time I'm done with those 380 chips, that'll be like over 30 minutes, I'm sure. And then from there, I will do the 5-star combat bot on a shorter video, because honestly, opening that full chip only takes like, what, 20 seconds? So, you know what we'll do though? For this video, let's find out who we should go to. I'll probably end up like closing or completing out one of these legacy batches. I just don't know which one. Not sure who I want there. I think I got the worst of it though, right? Because when you're attacking, what you want is a good offensive guy. Like when I hear people say the best defense is good offense, that makes complete sense. Just take them out and they got, that's the end of it, So maybe Legacy 4. Let's see who's in here. I'm afraid of getting Sound Barrier. And Glitch, I feel like Glitch's main thing is that, he extends the person's distance. So I'm like, I already got, a sniper, and I think my 4-star Glitch is on Warpath, so I don't really want another, let's look at it one more time. I don't want another Glitch, so I'm not entirely sure I'll go into this batch. Probably not. Let's see who else is here. I'm afraid of getting Rung, because the medic I have that's 5-star is First Aid, and you don't use Rung with First Aid, you use Rung with like Minerva, Wheeljack, or Ratchet. So I'm afraid to go into this one just on the offset chance of getting Rung, and I have a 20% chance of getting him, right, from this point. So I don't like those odds. And I feel like, conspiracy theory right here, that they kind of gear certain bots at you. Because, like the vast majority of people who want the attackers, because it feels like it's lopsided out there, there's more attackers out there instead of like defensive people. I think if I went and got them, I'd get Rung. Or if I went into that batch, I'd unfortunately get Rung. Let's see, who do we got here? There we go. Oh, this one's completed already. That changes things. So I think it's here what I was talking about before. Yeah, so this is what I was yelling about before. So I wanted Zor, and I was like, oh, I'm probably going to get Pinkwood or Zor. 20% chance of either, I don't mind. And then I got someone else that I didn't see here, and I was like, oh, what happened? Let me email Space Ape, and what they told me was, oh, Mr. Varghese, take a look. And I was like, oh, they didn't say Mr. Varghese, they said, my name, Warpath, whatever it is. And they're like, yeah, there's more over there. I was like, oh, wow. They're all good. So I want Zor. I'm going to go into this batch to hopefully get Zor. I might get Windstrike, knowing my luck. Trip Up, it was funny. Some people are putting him on the medic. When I read his bio, it doesn't say that it makes the healer faster or heal faster. So I'm a little iffy on it. But I am going to go into. I'm a little iffy on putting him on, say, First Aid, but I'll take a look at it again. But let's go into these ships, start opening them up. Now, and just before opening the next one, I just want to compare the two percentages from the premium event and how this one I just bought from, I think, the Beast Wars bundle. Now, when it comes to these guys individually, I don't remember what their bios are. I guess what I'll say in general is my preference, right? I like the guys that are like next to you companions versus like weapon companions. Because, you know, aside for, I think, like, who is it, Dazzle Strike? Like, some of them, after the user dies, they turn into, like, a combat bot on the field. I think that's kind of cool. But somehow, like, the support is what I like for the combat bot instead of the, you know, the melee weapons. So let's take a look at something. This is premium, random chance to get that. Not too much. What about here? Okay, this is a little bit more specific. Maybe I should do the other one first. All right, but we got a lot to go, so let's do the harder one first. Always get the harder ones out of the way. This is what I say personally, right? I say get the harder ones out of the way, so when you get to the easy ones, life is easy. That's what we want to do as we get older. Life is supposed to be easy. Now, you can kind of see here, there's nothing too much going on. You know what I should have done at some point was just looked at the combat bots to just show on the stream or on the video of how many to go. I don't want to tease anybody by going in there right now and snatching it up. So let's just finish this first. Actually, that's going to bother the both of us, right? I'm going to grab it. And like I showed everyone before, I'm going to pick this batch. Hopefully I get Zor, but you won't see it until a separate video, alright? Sorry, but I just don't want that number 4 bothering me. So I'm going to just snatch that up now. Probably going to be at the end. Yeah, it's all the way down here. Yeah, it's all the way down there, no problem. Alright, so let's finish watching it. Sorry guys, if anybody wanted to see that now, like I said, it's going to be on another video. Right after I kill these 340 Autobot chips. I try not to think about how much money I invest into this game. I think like that first year I became very serious about playing this game. I was just like, hey, how many emails do I have saying purchase it from Space 8? You know, successful? Like, yeah. Then really quick, I was just doing the fuzzy math. I was just like, what if I added all this together? That wasn't a good move. Because then all of a sudden when I added it, I was like, what's my Steam library, Xbox library, and PlayStation library? If I added all those up, I don't think this is as much as I've invested in this one game. And that felt a little bad. But a few of my friends who also play games, I don't want to say they enabled me, but you know, like when I talk to them, they're like, hey, there's nothing wrong with investing money into something that you enjoy. And I was like, oh, you're right. Would I be better off not putting money into you know, like forms of entertainment? Ooh, I mean, I think I said it right there. It's like, hey, if you don't spend anything out there, that's a little too crazy. You know, it's like you gotta have some fun. And when you're working hard, all of a sudden to say like, hey, don't spend money on a video game, don't spend money on a movie, you know, it's true you don't have to, right? They are expenditures and it's not going to help you by maybe help isn't the right word. So it's like, hey, if you have $10, is it better to go spend it on a movie, or is it better to spend it on getting charged less on, say, a credit card, for example? Put that $10 to that, put it toward a bill, put it toward a mortgage, whatever. Yes, saying it out loud, it makes more sense to put the money into a necessity over a luxury. But that being said, I still put it into this game because like when you look at the amount of time invested, it's like, hey, this actually kind of makes sense. I play this game, 10, 20 hours a week, say. So I'm like, that I don't, not necessarily saying it's like a part-time job, but what I would say is that, hey, it justifies it in that manner. It's not like I'm just throwing a lot of money into like a one-time thing. I'll give you an example, right? I'm a big Transformers fan, so that's the first and foremost. When I think it wasn't League of Legends, it was Mobile League something. I can't remember the game off the top of my head, but it was like League of Legends, where it was a MOBA, a mobile, arena battle game, and they had an event where they had Transformer skins, and my friend got into that game a little before that event came out, and he wanted, because I'm his friend, he wanted me to join, and I think he got a few of us to play for a little while, and I threw I think like $200 at that game, because it was like two separate weeks where they were like, hey, you get the Transformers skins on these characters, and I think it was if I remember right, it was like Megatron, Optimus. Of course, those two are always going to be in each game, but I think the other two guys was Starscream and Bumblebee. And the Megatron skin was, when it comes to those MOBA games, they try to make them somewhat balanced. But like the guy I got the skin for, Megatron, when I wanted, of course, an Autobot, I wanted Optimus. Like he was more of a glass cannon-ish character, where it's just like, you don't want to get attacked, you always want to. You don't want to get attacked, you always want to be doing the attacking and get out of there as soon as possible. And that's not how Megatron is, but remember, it was just a skin of Megatron on him. And then all of a sudden I was like, I hate this character. So I started playing more as Megatron. And then I was like, you know what, the game in itself, like the genre, isn't something for me. So I started noticing that when I would play, trying to enjoy the game, my friend wasn't there, and then it would take me away from Transformers. So I'm like, alright, that was a little bit of a wash, that's something I have to just quote unquote write off. What I would love to see, there's this other game that I love. Before Transformers came around, I played StarCraft all the time. And there was a small joke in the game about how there was this semi that had, the Optimus Prime color scheme. And they're like, oh, the guys at Blizzard sure love Transformers. And I'm like anyone at our age would love Transformers, so you wouldn't be surprised if I made a game. I would, put little, quote-unquote Easter eggs in there for Transformers too, and I would just hope like, hey, I hope I don't overdo it and get sued by Hasbro, But, I was a fan first, a lifelong fan. Parallels for right? Sometimes, we think about making our own game, making our own company. I remember there was this thing on, I forgot what it was. I saw it on YouTube. Somebody was like walking around the Apple campus, and like different parts of the campus were called different things. And I was like, if I did that, I would probably call one you know, I call one section Optimus, I call another section, Ratchet, like I would do things like that, or like different Wi-Fi's would be called different things, like it was just fun little stories that I thought of, and I thought a little too much of. Meanwhile, like if you think about that for a second, it's just like, why would like a Wi-Fi name be that big of a deal? It should be more about how do you get the company to keep it afloat, not hey, don't prioritize naming SSIDs or beta projects. It was just funny. Just before swinging back to this, I did mention StarCraft, and what I would love to see would have been something Transformers related, more than just an Easter egg. Like all these guys are doing this weird like cross promotion, and Transformers was doing a lot of different cross promotions. There was World of Battleships, War of Battleships. They were there. They were in that MOBA game I just mentioned. Like all of a sudden there was like a resurgence of Transformers licensing in digital media. And I was just like, oh, well, I mean, I love my Transformers, and I also love my blank. When I put those two together, and my case of blank is StarCraft, Another person would be like, hey, I love, Transformers, and I love, Call of Duty. How do we put those two together? I know there was an April Fool's Day joke when it came to, what was that EA game? I can't think of off the top of my head. It was also a first-person shooter, Apex Legends. No, not Apex Legends. The one that came before Apex Legends. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but that's another, looks like a good franchise, right? Like Apex Legends. They had the video game. I think they had an animation about it, and then they had like 2 spin-offs of it, like a mobile game and the faster-paced first-person shooter. The only first-person shooter I really got into was Halo. The first one I played was called Heretic way back in the day, and I experienced that weird first-person shooter headache. It's like a type of motion sickness. I don't think too many people get it now since there's so many of them, and now developers kind of like, it's one of the things that they know about and they try to write around. It's like, hey, doing something like this will give our players motion sickness. Let's not do that. Let's not have too many colors. Let's whatever, So I got into Halo. I was big into Halo 2 and 3, especially 3. The future ones I kind of fell off a little bit. I would play for a little while and then kind of drop off of it. What really ended up happening was when I got StarCraft 2. That's what really pulled me away from like almost every other video game out there. I used to love playing the Final Fantasies. I haven't played a Final Fantasy since I think like 12. I bought 13 but didn't even play 13 yet. It's like, okay, I'll eventually get to it, but jokingly what's going to end up happening is if I'm done with Transformers, I would play StarCraft. And if I was done with StarCraft is where I would revisit the other things. And then after revisiting the other things, we went like, hey, let me try something new. Like some of the Final Fantasy games I would, like when Final Fantasy X came out, I didn't play the ones before 10. 10 was my introduction to the series. And from my understanding, each one can be its own like introduction because they're self-contained. So I love 10. I think I put 120 hours into 10. Meanwhile, you could have probably completed it in like 30, but I wanted to do a lot. And then when 10.2 came out, I've never heard Square do a sequel to one of the Final Fantasies. Like, the joke was in the name itself. It was the Final Fantasy. So, you know what I mean? Like, they weren't going to continue the series. Oh, okay, it's a successful series. We'll just have our own self-contained universe for each Final Fantasy. And 10-2 was the first one that started like, hey, we can expand on a little bit and see where it goes from there. Whether it was, I guess, like money, franchising time, whatever it is. If it was successful, of course, they would dump more money into it. But they started a little bit of a new direction from 10-2, right? Where they're like, hey, the future ones, we can probably do a little bit more. And 13 was the perfect example, right? Where there was two I don't want to call it expansions. I'm not sure if I should call them sequels. But there was, there were 3 games there, right? There was 13, 13-2, and Lightning Returns. Someday I'll play those. I'm just wondering what'll happen first. Will I play them before or after they remake it, Speaking of remake, it would kind of fall into Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm gonna wait for all the games to come out and then play it. I'm sitting on the first part. I think the second part is there's a release date, but until I hear the third one, I'm not gonna bother investing time into it because what I was trying to say, I put 120 hours into Final Fantasy X, and I did the same thing for 10-2. And like I said before, both those games were not meant to, take that long to finish. I think they were both like 30-hour games. And then I ended up I think I bought it for PC. like some things were a little too much. Putting money into a franchise that I like wasn't the problem. It was, I wish they'd talk to each other a little bit better. Like, how come my PlayStation 2 save didn't carry over type of thing. But it's unfortunate, it is what it is. And now I don't know when I would play those games because I'd be hesitant into putting that many hours into it. And you kind of have to at some point because using Final Fantasy X as an example, they had that, I think it was this is my memory, don't yell at me in the comments or whatever, but it was the Besaid language. You had to find and the pieces and decipher it, so you'd have to do multiple playthroughs to get it all. And then when you got all the letters, when you had it ciphered correctly, then when you played it from the beginning, you knew what they were saying the whole time. And for me to, like I said, start all over again, when I did complete it after 120 hours, and I'd have to go through it all again because the saves weren't transferable, it's like, nah, I think I'm good. And when I mean transferable, I mean from the PlayStation 2 to the PC, right? If somehow you were lucky enough to do it in the manner that it was like, hey, I had the PlayStation 2 save, I got a PlayStation 3 and I transferred it over there, and then when the PlayStation 4 came out where it was backward compatible with the PlayStation 2 stuff, they just had to convert the save. I remember there was complications to it. It could have been done, but there were complications. But then, that PC version is supposed to be the best, right? And a lot of people will argue about how, hey, don't be like PC Master Race, stop that. But there's a level of truth to it, right? They would complete it for the lowest common denominator, make some type of enhancements for the other stuff, but the whole goal of video game making is set it and forget it and let that let the money trickle in while you're working on a new project. Not so much the case nowadays. Now it's like, hey, these games are as a service. They don't want to specifically call them monthly service subscriptions like World of Warcraft, but because they're always adding content here. Transformers is a perfect example. There's so many characters that they can pull from the franchise. Every month you can definitely get somebody new, and you know there's an event every week. It's a service, it's not a product. You know, how it is categorized as a free product? I would not want to call it a free product, especially since there's microtransactions in there. But a lot of people argue that it's like, hey, I've been playing for years, I haven't put any money into the game, and I'm like, that's you, you know, that's not me. And for you to get certain things, I can't see you not putting some money into it. But they are right though, right? You can get your first 5-star on that 5-year event because they gave it for free, or you can eventually get it just from playing the game every day without putting any money. But there's walls that you hit where you're like, maybe not, you know? Like, I would rather put some money in and get it now instead of all of a sudden, you know, like 6 years from now, finally get Omega Supreme. You know what I mean? Like, How much did that, how many chips? Good job, good job. So we still got 140 chips to go, and we are over the 26-minute mark. I should have known a little bit better than talking about what batch I was going to go for in the first 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden I went and got out of that batch. I mean, it kind of works a little bit, because if you're watching this and you heard that part, at least you kind of know where it's going, you know? Where this video, where this story is going. But it did make this video over the allotted time I thought it was going to be, because look at this, I still have 120 to go. So this one's going to be a longer video. No, I just noticed that we have flak jackets for defense, and there was somebody called Flak. First time I noticed it. Didn't put two and two together. If there was like a question of who the best 5-star bot was, if that was ever popped up, I don't think I would be the one to answer it correctly. I know who I like. I have him on C-Spray. I forgot the name of him, but he's supposed to make the user, just like a lot of the combat bots, stronger, but there was something very lopsided about his, or that combat bot's stats. You know, while this batch is going, I will find out who that is. I have that idea. I guess I'm gonna ask to use the level of quietness and silence. At least the game is in the background, but I just have to look up who that combat bot is. They've redesigned their page recently, so it's not as easy to find them, but okay, so the combat bots aren't with the regular Transformer characters. By the time I find it, this video is going to be over. And all I'm going to is just the Transformers Special Works Wiki. Alright, at least after this one, we are done with the non-event ones. Almost done, almost done. Alright, almost done, almost done. I guess they don't have the combat bots on the wiki. On their wiki, at least. The Earthwars wiki. Yeah, that was a little bit of a fail on my part, no big deal. Now, just before I finish the video, I'm just going to also just see how many shards I have now, or sorry, chips I have now. I saw a Lionizer a handful of times, but he just stuck out this time. I wonder if like putting Lionizer on a kind of like a suicide bot would be worth it, like an Elite one or a Windblade. Like get them right in the middle of something, and then when they die, Lionizer comes out. You know, I hate to call him a suicide bot, but from where I stand, it's very important to wake up the outpost guys, have them waste their special on a single person instead of on the group. For the longest time I used to have Jazz as one of my outpost bots, but I would see like one person activate him instead of like the whole team. I would seldom see him like go in and hit the whole team and then also survive. So I'm like, he's not the one for me. I have guys who have certain longevity in Outpost now. Alright, let's see, where do I stand? Okay, 2,000, that's it. So, yeah, I don't know what I had before that, but I got a 5-star combat bot and 2,000 chips, so it's fine. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video, and the next one is going to be... yeah, right there, I can see premium crystals. That's going to be a long video too, right? 340 premium crystals. Thank you. You'll hear from me shortly, alright? Have a good one, guys.